sourcing. This is gonna be a big event to find all types of manufacturers for things overseas, jackets, hats, t-shirts, anything like that. My agenda is to find a t-shirt manufacturer with good quality cotton overseas. Let's do a big wrap, make note of what we like, and then kind of like hone it in. So we'll see, walk around, bring y'all along with us, show y'all anything that we find of interest, any manufacturers that y'all might be able to use. We'll drop the sauce, I don't give a fuck. So you see LA Apparel right here, got some booth. It's nothing we don't know already. Low-key, a good button-up too for the spring. Like an airy vibe, boxy button-up. I would love that. Baby clothes be fire. We do like some baby clothes. I just don't know how to really sell baby clothes. That's the blank t-shirt they got. That's like their staple blank.
It's kind of like a Zara tee. The hoodie.
We should stop looking for a U.S. manufacturer. Craftsmanship that they just proved, it's just not affordable. It's not affordable.
So if you don't know, like China manufacturers, they're always on point. I'm not gonna lie. I was just telling him, when it comes to like American manufacturers, they'll mess up your count, they'll mess up your t-shirts, they'll mess it up, and then you'll have to wait a longer time to get it in the mail. Like China manufacturers, the counts are on point, and they just take pride into what they're doing.
A lot of these factories and manufacturers that are out here will claim that they're US based, but they're actually just middlemaning the sourcing that they're getting done in China anyways. So like for convenience, like they were just explaining, they know the swag basically, and they know the feel, they know what you need. So they'll just middleman it to the point where it's more convenient for you, but you're gonna be paying higher prices. So it's more imperative, I feel like, to save money, to get locked in with your manufacturer overseas, cut the middleman out, and just find your manufacturer yourself. What's that tag, buddy? What if he really gets manufactured out of here? Imagine.
How are you today? Good?
Good, yes.
This is us. We're a textile group out of Portugal. We work for US brands like Den Interiors, Stussy.
And that manufactures in Portugal?
In Portugal, yeah. 3 units in Portugal, full service units, 2 sewing units.
Like, where do y'all get your cotton from?
Our yarn
Yeah.
from Turkey.
Turkey.
So Portugal does not have raw materials.
Okay.
But we get all the cotton from Turkey.
What's your sampling time?
We usually do 2 to 4 weeks. Can do a first proto with available fabric in 1 to 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then depends if it has animations or not. Can go up to 2 weeks.
What is your turnaround time?
Bolt, 8 to 10 weeks for bolt.
Why so long? Is it the bigger clients that you have? Is that why?
With fabric development, that's more or less an industry standard. It's too much for
8 to 10 weeks, yeah. In China, it's a little shorter.
Yeah.
You guys do VIP clients?
Yeah.
What does it take to become a VIP client? A certain amount?
We are quite flexible. So the thing of 150 to 200 pieces per style, we adapt. We have clients all over Europe, US and Canada. Everybody works differently. So it says that have to adapt to you guys. We're always running after, for example, the stock service programs. We developed first for this client because he wanted 2 weeks turnaround time. And then we proposed to Stussy. So we have fabric ready in-house, rolls and rolls of fabric.
Yeah.
And they give the order, we cut and we sew.
Ready, yeah. All right, yeah. We'll be in touch then.
I'll be proud
for sure.
Obrigado. Thank you very much. Nice to meet you guys. Thank you.
You speaking Portuguese, boy? He was waiting on it the whole time. You're nasty. He was waiting. He was like, it wasn't even natural. Arigato. Like.
You're not tapped in.
I'm not. You're right. I'm finna be though. I like that one. I like that one a lot. Ran into the owners of Young LA here at the same event as us, still grinding, even though they got so much motion, so much stain, they still just sourcing. Like, that's just kind of crazy to think about. That's how you know to stay humble, young man. Stay hungry, stay dialed, stay hungry. I think right now we found maybe 2 good manufacturers. A nice denim manufacturer that can do a lot, and then that Portugal manufacturer I really like. The shipping times is a little ass, but a lot of these companies like make what you want, but it's just boof. You want to try to find like a swaggier company, so it's just that much easier to get the shit that you want. And you don't gotta go through 5 rounds of sampling for them to understand the swag you feel me? Day 1 at the sourcing event is over. Pretty productive finding. Portugal manufacturers kind of won us over, I feel like, over Chinese manufacturers. So we found a t-shirt manufacturer we might start working with, as well as another Portugal manufacturer that had hoodies, sweats, things like that. Day 1, sourcing event, magic, done shit. What's up, YouTube? What's up, Pain Fam? Day 2 in Vegas. Not gonna talk too much, about to get right into it. About to go meet Kai downstairs in the lobby. Then we're going back to the sourcing event at Magic. Gonna go see some more stuff, talk to some more manufacturers. And later on today, or maybe tomorrow, we're gonna sit down and answer a bunch of y'all Q&A questions that I asked y'all to ask us on Instagram for any brand questions and things like that. So we'll sit down and talk about that later on. But right now, head to the Sourcing Magic event. And yeah, day 2. We're gonna just do a lap around, nothing too crazy. We kind of got what we needed yesterday, but just gonna make sure we cover our tracks and make sure we don't miss nobody and any other good manufacturers that we might need to work with. Still on our agenda, looking for more t-shirt manufacturers, hoodies, crew necks would be helpful. And we still need a button up. We do need to get a button up, like a thin button up. So that you said the MOQ for this is like 800 pieces.
Yeah.
You could do 400 of two different styles.
Yeah.
And it's because you were saying the sewing line.
So, I mean, it takes there's a lot of merchandising effort as well as a certain amount of productivity that's required to give your factory that output. So if you do like lower than 800, at least in our factory setup, the productivity just drops. So it becomes really expensive.
I see what you're saying. Is that across the market you feel like that's kind of standard? Like if we were to work with China to get something like that made, are we going to run into that same issue you feel like?
It depends on the factory, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think China has become super flexible where you have people giving you 10 pieces or a dozen.
Working with India as opposed to China, manufacturing wise, what do you feel like the benefit is going to India?
In India, you get a little bit more handwork. These washes, a lot of what we do, it requires a lot of handwork. It's definitely China is better if you go for very large volumes.
Okay, I appreciate it. The MOQ is a little high for us, but I do appreciate it.
No worries, man.
800 is kind of crazy. No, 800 is crazy, not kind of crazy.
800?
But that's a really nice piece. We'll go back and take a picture of that because I want to, for spring, summer, that's something we need.
Some fabrics.
Take a bad drip on. You got AI drip.
We're very fast.
Getting fresh in AI. What's going on, y'all? So I asked y'all to ask me questions about the brand, any questions y'all might have about starting your own brand or how we do things and how it started and everything like that. So I posted it on my Instagram story and I had a lot of y'all actually asked me a bunch of questions. So we're just gonna go through it. I'm gonna answer some questions that I think are important and can help y'all start your brand and everything. As you've seen, we went to the sourcing event. It's definitely important to go out to these events. It's definitely important to do your research and watch videos even like this to, learn things before you just want to jump into something as complicated as starting a clothing brand. What's the biggest challenge when staying creative with your design process? I don't really think there's a challenge as far as staying creative. I think I'm a creative person by nature. I got creative friends around me. I do creative things. For me, something that helps me create is obviously using references, finding inspo, if it's Pinterest, Braille, Essence, clothing websites, thrift stores, vintage stores, anything. Primarily for me, I find shopping helps me be creative. Low key, sometimes when your back's against the wall and you just have to create, you kind of just perform. I used to think I wasn't a creative person because I wasn't very artistic. I wasn't like arts and crafty at all. But if you really look at your life and the way you are, as far as music you listen to, how you dress, the friends you keep, even something as simple as the jokes you make, or if you create content, the content you make, anything like that, you can start to see that you probably are creative in a lot of ways. You just got to tap into it more. You have to hone in that skill. You have to feed that skill. And the more you feed it, just the better you get and the more creative you become. Because when I started, I look at some of my old designs, not a fan of them anymore because I feel way more creative now because I'm feeding my creativity. It's another good question. What did you do to market the brand differently from the competition? Right now, I think the streetwear industry, primarily the TikTok brands, Instagram brands, if you want to consider us that as of right now, I wouldn't argue that. And I think one thing that is different is me and Kai are the direct influencers of our brand. We have yet to reach out to other influencers to promote our brand or anything like that because we are influencers within ourselves and we double as the owners and the founders of the brand as well. I think for us, our marketing strategy is definitely, like I said, self-promotion through our own platforms and things like that. And I think another big thing we take a lot of pride in and focus on is promotional videos and like campaign videos to show the product and build a theme, a story around the products we're releasing. Nobody in the space right now, especially in the streetwear space, is really doing that, and especially at a high level, the way we have and can and plan to. We take a lot of pride in that. I think that's one way for us to stand out amongst all the brands that's out there right now. How do you balance what you want versus what consumers want? What's more important to you? I think it's a balance in between. I create a lot of things that just look cool to me. I have some counsel that talks to me about things. I get their opinions on things like that. But at the end of the day, you don't want to rely on your consumers too much to tell you what to create because what are consumers doing? They're buying into your idea. They're buying into your brand. They don't want to feel like they're in control of your brand. They want to feel like you know where you're headed, that you know the direction of your brand and things like that. And once you lose that direction of your brand is when people no longer want to buy in and continue purchasing goods from you and whatnot because it's like, why am I buying from you when you don't even know what you want to do? So you definitely need to give people a story, a theme, a mantra, an idea to buy into as far as the brand. And that goes for products. That goes for everything that encompasses your brand needs to be your own direction and you need to give it to consumers. But definitely take into account of what they might want, things like that. But as far as like specifics and letting them design and things like that outside of like, a little cool challenge that you might propose to your audience and whatnot. But it's your brand. Take pride in that. Have the final say-so of what's being released for your brand. Somebody asked, what's the best way to create designs? Do you draw it up yourself or do you use a designer? I think it depends on your skill set. If you're really well-versed in Photoshop, Procreate, even hand drawing, maybe you can go that route. For me, I was proficient in Photoshop at the time. I've used Procreate before, but I wasn't the best at it. So yeah, I could have like stuck it through, got better at it, spent a lot of time and invested in becoming a graphic designer, or just outsourced, locked in with a graphic designer, and just work through him to bring my ideas to life. And that's currently what I do now. I have a knowledge in creative design, and I feel like I don't mind spending in creating ideas. But as far as the time it takes to create these ideas and really bring them to life and put them on a t-shirt, put them on a mock-up, I don't have the time to sacrifice and make 8 t-shirt designs with 3 sweatpants designs like that. So what I do, I sketch out my drawing. I might come up with an idea, have reference photos, sketch it up on my book, whether it be hand-drawn or the blue book I use. I'll take a picture of it, send it to my designer, give him more references to go off of so he really gets my idea. He'll send me back his first mock-up. We'll make changes and adjustments to it. I use one graphic designer right now. I have a couple that I'll rotate through, but like I have a main graphic designer, and I think that's the best thing to do is just lock in with one so he starts to learn your vision over time. Y'all build a relationship. At that point, the work just gets a lot easier. Now, you have to be conscious of certain limitations with ways of printing and what can really be done, if it's embroidered, if it's puff print. There's a lot of limitations. So like for a while, I had to learn that I cannot fully just create freely because there is limitations to bringing the product to life and like the actualization of like a print or things like that, especially if you want quality behind it. So that's a whole nother thing that you gotta take into account and just learn about on your own. Best advice on starting your business with your best friend. I think the best advice I can give is just put your ego aside, learn each other, have tough conversations. More than anything, like business, especially with your best friend, cannot exist where ego is present. It just cannot happen. There's gonna be a lot of nights where, you just have to eat shit sometimes, take a lot of things to the chin for the betterment of the collective and whatnot. That's the only way business works. As I do it for Kai, he probably does it for me as well. At the end of the day, we both know the end goal is to make big WP and Cascade Heights the biggest shit in the world. So what comes with that is eating shit sometimes, taking a lot of things on the chin, sucking some things up, not voicing your opinion on some things, and just letting certain things play out. So hopefully through experience, y'all both learn together, Let's say, for instance, Kai wanted a t-shirt. I didn't like the t-shirt. Instead of me going back on him and telling him that's a shitty design, sometimes you gotta let that idea come to life, see how it performs, and maybe if it performs well, I shut the fuck up. Or maybe I need to see that I could trust his vision more. If it does bad, he could realize, like, let me let the creative shit be a little bit more in Nigel's ballpark, and let me use my skills elsewhere to help the business grow. So I think it's just important, to just take the ego, the pride, all that shit out of it. Yeah, I think that's about it. I think this question right here is really important to answer. Any advice for a motherfucker on the fence about really committing the time into the brand world? Too many people now are wasting their time, wasting their years, wasting their purpose, their potential on doing something they're not sure they want to do because maybe they see other people doing great at it, like us. Oh, WP Boys is eating right now. I see they got track hogs. Like, I'm about to hop on a wave. This might not be for you. If you're looking at somebody else and your inspiration comes from seeing somebody directly gaining success from something and you're like, oh, let me try it. It's not the worst idea. Sometimes it could work in your favor. But let me tell you, I think for brand creation, when passion is not present, I do not believe you're going to last long. You're chasing dollars when it comes to being creative in anything, 9 times out of 10 is just not gonna work out. So if you're on the fence, bro, this is probably not for you. If you genuinely felt like you wanted to be a brand owner, nothing will stop you. Nothing stopped me from going out and creating it. And through all the trials and tribulations and the hiccups and the lost money and the failed relationships, everything that I endured to just keep WP a thing, keep Cascade Heights a thing, never deterred me from it. I continued on my path because I felt like it was my purpose. It's something I love. It's something I'm passionate about. It's something that I wanted to do. If you're on the fence, this is not for you. You will get ate up. You will waste your time. You waste your money. I would say focus your time on figuring out what is your purpose, what it is you're passionate about, and that can make you money. If you got to try to outsource motivation and it's not internal to do things, it's just probably not for you. It's just something you just don't want to do. Stop wasting your time trying to do what other people are doing because you see it on social media like that. Spend the time on what you would enjoy doing and what you could benefit from. It's going to pay off 10 out of 10. Going about it that route is going to pay off way more than following behind what somebody else might be doing or being on the fence about something and just wasting your time doing it. Somebody asked the best and easy ways to find vendors, manufacturers. I get this question over and over again. How do y'all manufacture? Where do y'all do it? Go on Alibaba.com. That has all the resources you need. If you want to make a hoodie, go to Alibaba, type in crop, boxy hoodie. Tons of items will pop up. As long as you see that this manufacturer can make a hoodie with the materials you want, from there on out, you just send them a tech pack. You tell them what measurements you want. If you have a sample you really love, send it over to them. Let them feel it. Let them see it and say, yo, I want to make this. I would like to make these slight adjustments to it. That's what a lot of brands do. They just take inspiration from other companies or other products that are doing well. For other companies, they just make their own little tweaks to it, or they rip it directly off the other company. Don't think that doesn't happen as well. But Alibaba has everything you need, very simple, and that is where you start building relationships. That's where you find manufacturers, and that's where you can start producing your own product. This is a good question. What's harder, making a brand from scratch or keeping a brand consistent and innovative? Anybody can start a brand. There's tons of people have done it, and you see it all the time. I don't think starting a brand is hard at all. You can go ahead and do the pre-order method. So a lot of y'all ask also, like, how did y'all start the brand and things like that? Came up with a name, me, Ike, and Kai sat down at the table while we were influencing. I was making videos at the time, and I was like, yo, we got to monetize ourselves. How are we going to do it? Always wanted to start a brand. They were in agreement with it. We had to come up with a name. I remember pain was something we were saying a lot in our videos. It was our lingo. It was just who we were at the time. And still are. Pain is just us. And from that, I wanted to make a name. So I went home, went to the drawing board. I came with a note. We used to always eat acai bowls in Connecticut. So all three of us sat down, and they were like, yo, what name did you come up with? I gave them a list of maybe 10 to 12 names. I said Welcome Pain, and it rung for all of us. All of us were like, yo, Welcome Pain's hard. WP for an abbreviation, that's tough. And with Cascade Heights, it was just, we wanted something that was more streetwear focused, away from the gym. We felt like Welcome Pain is a gym portion of the brand, and Cascade Heights is gonna be more the streetwear focused thing. I remember Kai just saying, like, we needed to separate Welcome Pain from the streetwear things. It just doesn't work in the streetwear world. We just didn't feel like, so he was like, we need to come up with a name. And he was like, it needs to be like a location somewhere where maybe the people of Welcome Pain would live. Where would we live? Like, what's something that embodies the Welcome Pain consumer, things like that, and the life we're trying to portray and manifest and pray for and create, things like that. So I was thinking about Atlanta. I always liked Cascade as a skating rink in Atlanta. The word Cascade just kind of stuck out to me. And then I wanted to give it a location. We had like Heights, Hills, like there was a lot of different options, but Heights just, it made the most sense. Cascade Heights then became what it is today. We created Welcome Pain with zero capital. We had no money to invest. That's a lot of y'all ask, like, how much money do you need to start a brand like that? You can make it out of thin air, and that's exactly what we did. We paid to get a mock-up done. Me and the first designer I was first using, we don't use him anymore that much. From there, on our socials that was going up at the time, and we were growing as influencers, I simply just made a video, posted the mock-up shirt, like, yo, we're gonna release this shirt. How many of y'all want it? We'll do a pre-order method. Everybody can get what they want. The video blew up. We had thousands of orders. So when they purchased the item, we had thousands of orders to then fulfill. We started the production of the t-shirts, got everything in, and with the money from the pre-order, we took half of the profit. So with the money from the pre-order, we took a lot of the profit, put it towards the production of t-shirts, got the t-shirts produced. We capped the profit off of the t-shirts, sent them out, fulfilled it. Obviously, you gotta pay for shipping, baggies, things like that to get it to the consumer. However, that's essentially how we made money out of thin air, and like the creation of our brand was from zero money down, you know? And then from there, you obviously had to make a website. You got to get an email list. You got to get an SMS list. You got to keep creating designs. It's a lot more that goes into it. But if you do the pre-order method, there's nothing wrong with it. I think the only issue with it is like if you cannot fulfill the orders fast enough, you'll have problems with Shopify. Some consumers might not want to wait a month for, you know, a t-shirt and things like that. I think the standard of the industry right now is definitely like longer wait times for receiving products. And we're just trying to move away from that because we want to establish ourselves as a brand. If I buy something from Supreme right now, they drop on Friday. You know what time they drop. They're consistent. You buy it, you're going to get it in a week, 2 weeks max. Amazon Prime, I think that's obviously pushed the envelope for a lot of just shipment times and things like that. You can get things next day. So I think it's important to compete with a ready-made drop and get your product out to consumers as fast as possible. Now that obviously makes room for inventory having to sit or things not selling out, especially if your demand's not high, but it's just what comes with it. So I think you should do the pre-order method as long as possible. Build your core community and then start rewarding them with faster shipment times when obviously you have the funds available. But every pre-order you should be making money, and to the point where you can then do ready-made drops. And you need to market the fuck out of those ready-made drops so it can sell out, it can reach the masses. People know when it's dropping, why it's dropping, what's dropping, things like that, and then hopefully sell out. And then you're now a functioning, operating brand at the highest level. I think for now, that's all the questions I'm going to answer. I'm sorry if I didn't get to your questions. There was a ton of them, a lot of repeating questions and things like that. I think the information I gave was pretty helpful, especially if you're just starting out or you got a brand. I think you could have took something away from this video. I'll try to get back to some of y'all directly in the comments if y'all have questions that weren't answered or something that you feel like could help other people. Go ahead and comment it down below. I will be replying on this video to make sure I get back to as many people as I can and spread the information, spread the knowledge and things like that. Nothing without y'all. Welcome Pain is nothing without y'all, and I want y'all to know that. And I hope y'all are able to take something from this as far as going out to the Sourcing event in Vegas and trying to build those relationships with manufacturers in person to, answering y'all questions and things like that and helping y'all get a better understanding of how we started, the way we do our process and creating designs and bringing ideas to life and whatnot. And hopefully something y'all can do and which y'all can take from your journey and possibly possibly starting a brand and things like that. If you enjoyed this video, only if you enjoyed it, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let me know something. Until next Friday, expect a video Monday from Kai. Obviously, Pain Hawk Channel Wednesday. And we back at it next Friday. I love y'all, and we out.